A place where his strangeness wasn't an anomaly, where his survival didn't make people uncomfortable, where ethics had won a rare and costly victory. "I don't think I'm done being human yet," he said gently. "But, thank you." She inclined her head. "Then you will always have sanctuary here." At the base of the shuttle ramp, Marcus hesitated. "For what it's worth," he said, "you chose right. Not everyone does." Bashira met his gaze steadily. "So did you." The shuttle lifted off into a sky no longer choked with emergency traffic. As the planet receded, Marcus felt something settle inside him. Not certainty, but acceptance. He reviewed the data one last time during the journey. His parents' work, their fear, their choice to gamble ethics against extinction. He no longer felt only anger. He felt responsibility, not to be a weapon, not to be a solution, to be a warning. When he arrived back among his own people, Marcus did not announce himself as anything special. He returned to quarantine work, to training others, to telling uncomfortable stories about what shortcuts cost in the long run. He laughed more. He slept better. Sometimes when reviewing outbreak projections, he felt that old pressure behind his eyes. His body still prepared, still anticipated, but now he listened to it instead of being ruled by it. On quiet nights, he thought of Vashira's world, of long years lifting toward hope, of a civilization that had chosen not to dissect its conscience. Survival, he had learned, wasn't about being terrifying. It was about choosing again and again not to be. They are the most interesting. The terrain flattened into a stretch of blackened stone, veined with faintly glowing mineral lines. Ancient power conduits, long dead but still humming with residual charge. Logan angled his path instinctively to avoid the worst of it. His boots sparked anyway. "Careful," Valeria said. "That ground will disrupt your nervous system." "Already ahead of you," he said. "My nervous system and I are barely on speaking terms." She shifted, then stilled. He felt the tension ripple through her frame. "You joke," she said, "but your body is under strain far beyond its limits." "Good thing I never liked limits." She was quiet for a while after that. Long enough that Logan wondered if she had passed out. He adjusted his grip slightly. "Don't," she snapped. "I'm still awake. Just checking. I am not a sack of supplies." "Could have fooled me," he said. "You're about as cooperative as one." She made a sound that might have been a laugh, or might have been a threat. The sky darkened further, the twin suns finally dipping behind jagged ridges. Night here was not darkness so much as a muted electric glow. Bioluminescent spores drifting through the air like lazy stars, reacting to motion and heat. Every step Logan took left a brief constellation in his wake. Valeria watched it over his shoulder. "This world remembers movement," she said, "even after war. Wish I could say the same about people." Her fingers tightened slightly against his chest plate. "You speak like someone who has been forgotten." "Occupational hazard," Logan said. "Scouts don't make great statues." Another kilometer passed, then another. His internal monitors scrolled warnings he ignored out of habit. Thermal regulation spiking, micro tears forming, pain receptors lighting up like festival beacons. He breathed through it, steady and controlled. "You should be slowing," Valeria said again, less accusatory now, more confused. "I keep telling you," Logan said. "Stubborn." "That is not stubbornness." She shifted her head slightly, peering down at his neck, his shoulders. "Your muscles are adapting too quickly." "Fast learner," he said. "You are hiding something." "Everyone does." A sharp pulse of pain rippled through her body. She sucked in a breath, nails biting into his armor. "Okay," Logan said gently. "That didn't sound great." "The wound burns," she admitted. "Cold, like metal in my blood." He frowned. The scanner on his wrist flickered again, more insistently this time. He glanced at it while walking, heart sinking as the readings resolved. "Yeah," he muttered. "That's not great." "What is it?" He hesitated. Humor was easier than honesty, but this wasn't the moment to dodge. "You've been poisoned." Silence stretched tight between them. "That is unlikely," Valeria said slowly. "My guards—" "Slow-acting compound," Logan said. "Designed to let you escape, then fail later. Political assassins love that kind of irony." She was very still now. Will it kill me? Eventually, he said. Not tonight, but soon. Another laugh escaped her, thin and sharp. So I survived the ambush only to die on a human's back. History will enjoy that. Hey, Logan said, I'm doing my best to ruin history's expectations. She shifted again, clearly fighting pain. And you? Why are you unaffected? He didn't answer right away. She waited. Human. Yeah? You are still not tired. Logan exhaled slowly. The truth pressed against his ribs, heavy as the queen he carried. Because I'm not exactly numb. Standard issue. She said nothing, but he could feel her attention sharpen. Augmented, he said finally. Illegal military mods. Strength, endurance, metabolic filters, the whole forbidden menu. Contraband, she said, very much so. You should not exist, she said, not cruelly, factually. Yeah, Logan agreed. That was the official position. They walked on in silence, broken only by his steady footsteps and the faint hum of ancient ground beneath them. You were cast out, Valeria said at last. Discharged, he corrected. Stripped, labeled, told to disappear quietly. And yet here you are, she said, carrying a queen across 25 kilometers. Life's weird. Another pulse of pain racked her. She gasped, then laughed weakly. You are resistant to the toxin. Perks of being illegal, Logan said. His jaw tightened as a reckless idea began to form. Your body isn't filtering it fast enough. You cannot help me, she said. You are already doing too much. Story of my life, he muttered. The safe zone lights were still distant. Too distant. Valeria's voice dropped. Logan. He slowed just enough to listen. Yeah? If I do not survive, she said, I want it known that a human carried me farther than any of my own would have believed possible. He smiled grimly. Let's aim for a version where you tell them yourself. As he walked, the idea crystallized into resolve. Dangerous, stupid, possibly fatal. But then again, so was stopping. Pain stopped being a signal somewhere around kilometer 15 and became a language instead. Logan understood it fluently. The ache in his shoulders spoke of old augment scars, tightening like offended metal. His spine complained in a long, uninterrupted sentence. His legs had reduced their vocabulary to one word repeated endlessly. Move. Queen Valeria noticed the change before he did. You have altered your gait, she said. Again. Have I? Logan said. I thought I was adding personality. You are compensating for damage. Temporary inconvenience, he corrected. Very trendy among my people. She did not laugh this time. Her hand slid slightly against his chest plate, fingers pressing where his heartbeat thudded too steadily for someone this far into exertion. Your heart rhythm is wrong, she said. That's rude, he replied. I've had it for years. She shifted her weight, testing him. The extra pressure would have sent a normal human to the ground. Logan grunted but kept moving. That should have broken you, she said softly. Still time, he said. I like to build suspense. The landscape changed again, the ravine giving way to a stretch of metallic sand, microscopic machine remnants from a war so old no one remembered who had won. The particles reacted to electromagnetic fields, clinging to armor and skin, whispering as they slid. Logan's boots grew heavier with each step. Valeria inhaled sharply. This place is hostile to altered physiology. Good, Logan said. I was worried it would get boring. Her breath hitched. The toxin was no longer subtle. He could feel it through her muscles stiffening, her temperature fluctuating in small, alarming waves. Their proximity had become a diagnostic tool, whether either of them liked it or not. You are degrading, she said. Your systems are screaming, Logan said. Yes, but they scream a lot. It's their thing. She shifted again, trying to look at him, long ear brushing his cheek. Why did you not remove the augmentations when they were banned? He laughed, a short bark. That's like asking why I didn't just remove my skeleton. They could have killed you, she said. They tried, he replied. Turns out I'm annoyingly durable. The sand thinned. Solid ground returned. The safe zone was closer now, close enough to see faint structural outlines against the horizon, but still cruelly far. Another wave of pain tore through her. This one left her gasping, her nails digging into his collarbone hard enough to draw blood. Okay, Logan said, stopping at last. His legs trembled, furious at the pause. That's new. Talk to me. I can feel it spreading, Valeria said. Her voice was tight, controlled by force of will. It is interacting with my nervous system, slowing it, freezing it. Logan glanced at his wrist display. The readings confirmed what he'd been dreading. You're running out of time, he said. So are you, she replied, eyes narrowing. Your hands are shaking. He flexed his fingers deliberately. Stage fright. You are lying again. Professionally, he said. She studied him for a long moment. Then quietly, if I order you to leave me, will you obey? Logan didn't answer immediately. He rolled his shoulders, winced, then knelt just enough to adjust her weight more securely. No, he said, but thank you for asking politely. A corner of her mouth lifted despite herself. You are insufferable. High praise coming from royalty. They moved again. The next few kilometers passed in a strange rhythm. Pain surged, receded, surged again. Logan cracked jokes when his knees threatened mutiny. Valeria responded with dry observations about human inefficiency that somehow made it easier to breathe. You humans are absurd, she murmured at one point. You outlaw power, then punish those who possess it. We're big fans of irony, Logan said. It keeps us humble. Another spasm racked her. This one lingered. Her breathing went shallow, uneven. Logan, she said, voice quieter now, if your augmentations filter toxins. They do, he said. And your blood carries those filters? He slowed, then stopped completely. The question hung between them, heavy and dangerous. You're thinking what I'm thinking, he said. Then you are thinking recklessly, she replied. Also true. She shifted, forcing herself to meet his gaze from over his shoulder. Her eyes were bright, fevered but sharp. If this fails, you could die. Or worse. Story of my life, he said lightly. Then more seriously, if I don't try, you definitely will. Silence followed, broken only by the faint hum of distant structures and the whisper of wind across ancient ground. This will bind our systems, Valeria said, even temporarily. Our species have never shared blood, Logan said. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal for us too. She laughed weakly. Then you understand the intimacy of the act. He considered that. Trust me, he said. I've had worse first dates. Her laugh turned into a cough, but there was gratitude in it. He reached for the injector at his belt, hands steady now that the decision was made. This is very illegal, he said conversationally. Everything about you appears to be, she replied. He prepared the needle, glanced once toward the distant lights, then back at her. Ready? He asked. Valeria straightened as much as she could on his back, queen even in ruin. Do it, human, she said. And if this kills us both, I will haunt your species personally. Logan grinned. Fair. As the injector pierced his skin, the future narrowed to a single point. Pain, choice, and the quiet understanding that neither of them would walk away unchanged. The injector hissed softly, a sound far too polite for what it was about to do. Logan counted the seconds out of habit as the needle withdrew, warmth blooming under his skin, spreading with the familiar efficiency of systems that had never asked permission to exist. Valeria felt it immediately. Her breath caught, sharp and startled, long ears twitching hard enough that one brushed his jaw. That is unpleasant, she said, then corrected herself. No, that is profoundly unpleasant. Good, Logan said, forcing himself upright again. Means it's working. Or killing us. 50-50. She made a strained sound that might have been laughter. Your optimism is legendary. Illegal enhancements come with illegal confidence, when he said, resuming their march. The weight on his back shifted. Not heavier, exactly, but different. Like carrying someone who was no longer entirely separate from him. The change rolled through her in waves. He felt it through the contact of armor and skin, a strange resonance as her body reacted to the foreign chemistry. Her temperature spiked, then dropped. Her breathing stuttered, then steadied. Oh, she murmured, that is new. On a scale from 1 to screaming, Logan asked. Annoying, she said, like an itch inside my bones. High praise, he replied. That's the filters kicking in. They'll start chewing through the toxin. And me? She asked dryly. They'll try not to, he said. They're very polite machines. She shifted, testing her fingers, her legs. I can feel your heartbeat, she said, startled. It is loud. Sorry, Logan said. I'll keep it down. That was not a complaint. They walked on. The night deepened around them, the bioluminescent spores reacting not just to Logan now, but to Valeria as well, flaring brighter where her body brushed his. Two patterns overlapping, briefly harmonizing. After a few minutes, she inhaled slowly. The burning is receding. Logan let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Good. But something else is happening, she added. Define something else. I can feel you, she said, puzzled. Not your thoughts, your effort, your resistance. Yeah, he said. That part wasn't in the brochure. She laughed, then stopped, surprised by the sound. That was easier, she said. Breathing, moving. Don't get used to it, Logan said. Temporary loan. No refunds. Her grip loosened slightly. The tension in her frame eased, though exhaustion still weighed on her. For the first time since he'd found her, she rested her head fully against his shoulder. You are very warm, she said. Augments run hot, he replied. Bad for stealth. Great for winter. The safe zone lights were closer now, resolving into angular silhouettes and faintly pulsing shields. Close enough to taste, far enough to still matter. Valeria was quiet for a long time. Too quiet. Hey, Logan said. Don't go introspective on me now. That's usually a bad sign. I am recalibrating, she said. My body is confused. Tell it to take a number, he said. Mine's been confused for years. She lifted her head slightly. You hid this life. Didn't hide, Logan said. Just avoided attention. You could have served, she said. With those abilities, you would have risen quickly. He snorted. Yeah, right up until someone decided I was more weapon than person. And you believed them. He shrugged as best he could with a queen on his back. Hard not to when they write it into law. Her fingers tapped lightly against his chest plate, thoughtful. My people do not fear strength, she said. We fear misuse. Semantics, Logan said. Difference, she corrected. Important one. Another kilometer passed. His joints screamed. Her body steadied further, the toxin retreating under relentless biochemical assault. I can move my legs again, she said softly. Not well, but enough. Good, Logan said, because if you start walking, I'm charging you. She laughed again, stronger this time. Humans monetize everything. Survival habit. The ground ahead shifted, shield interference rippling faintly across the air. Safe zone perimeter. Logan felt a familiar knot tighten in his chest. Not relief, but anticipation of what came next. Valeria felt it too. When we arrive, she said, voice calm, they will scan you. Yeah, Logan said. That's usually when things get awkward. They will see what you are. Been there. They will expect me to respond, she continued. As queen. Logan adjusted his grip one last time, squaring his shoulders. Do what you have to do. She was silent, then said quietly, You gave me your blood. Temporary, he said. No, she replied. Consequential. The perimeter lights flared brighter as they approached, sensors locking on. Logan kept walking, each step heavy but sure. Whatever waited beyond the shields, judgment, asylum, a cage, a uniform, he would face it standing, or at least upright enough to pretend. Behind him, Queen Valeria straightened, long ears lifting despite exhaustion, regaining her posture as ruler and survivor. And between them, unseen but undeniable, something new had already taken root. The first alarm sounded before Logan crossed the perimeter line, a low harmonic thrum that crawled up his spine and settled behind his eyes. Defense fields tasted his augment signatures and did not like them. He felt the shields hesitate, protocols arguing with each other at machine speed about whether to open fire or ask questions first. Valeria felt it too. Her fingers tightened once, then relaxed. Do not flinch, she said calmly. They will read that as guilt. Great, Logan said. I'll just look confidently innocent while illegally enhanced. The shields parted with visible reluctance. Light spilled over them. clean, white, clinical, and for the first time in hours, the air smelled like metal and antiseptic instead of ancient dust and old war. Figures moved ahead, silhouettes resolving into armored forms, with weapons already half raised. "Lower her!" a voice commanded, amplified and sharp. Logan slowed, then stopped. His legs shook violently now that momentum was gone. He bent carefully, lowering Valeria until her boots touched the ground. She swayed, caught herself on his shoulder, then straightened with visible effort. Even wounded, even exhausted, she carried authority the way some people carried scars. "Stand down," she said, voice cutting cleanly through the noise. "If any of you fire, I will have your names carved into history as footnotes." Weapons lowered immediately. Medics surged forward, scanners sweeping over her in a flurry of light. Logan felt suddenly very aware of himself, of the dried blood at his collarbone, the faint glow beneath his skin where implants ran hot, the way every sensor kept lingering on him like an accusation. "She is stabilized," one medic said after a tense moment. "The toxin is receding." Valeria exhaled slowly. "Good." "And the human?" another voice asked. "He is, irregular." "That's one word for it," Logan muttered. Hands caught his arms as his legs finally gave out. He sank to one knee, then another, muscles screaming in protest now that they were no longer being ordered forward. "Easy," someone said. "Don't fight it." "I'm not," Logan said. "This is what cooperation looks like for me." They moved him to a bench just inside the perimeter, scanners flickering more insistently now. His augmentations lit up their displays like forbidden scripture. "Contraband military enhancements," an officer said, disbelief edging her tone. "Full suite." "Partial," Logan corrected weakly. "They took the fun ones." Valeria turned her head toward him, sharp eyes missing nothing. "How long have you lived like this?" He shrugged, winced. "Long enough that I forget what ordinary feels like." The medics finished securing her wound, injecting stabilizers that made her shiver, but did not erase the strange, lingering connection humming between them. She felt it too, he knew. A shared resonance, like an echo that refused to fade. "You shared blood," one medic said quietly, astonished. "That should not be possible." "Yet here we are," Logan said. "Science is wild." Valeria lifted a hand, silencing further questions. "Leave us." There was a pause, then, reluctantly, they obeyed. For a moment, it was just the two of them under the humming lights, exhaustion settling like gravity. Logan leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "Well," he said, "that went better than expected." "You were expecting execution?" Valeria said. "I try to keep expectations low," he replied. "Makes life more surprising." She studied him in silence. The Queen's composure was back now, mostly. Only the faint tremor in her hands betrayed how close she had come to dying. "My people will demand answers," she said. "They will want to know why a human possesses forbidden power, why you were not reported, why I am alive." Logan nodded. "Fair questions. They will also notice," she continued, "that my physiology has adapted in ways it should not have." He glanced at her. "Is that bad?" "It is unprecedented," she said. "Which is worse." She reached out, fingers brushing his wrist where the scanner band still glowed faintly. The contact sent a subtle ripple through him, a reminder that the link was not gone. "You could report me," Logan said. "Hand me over. Let them dismantle me piece by piece to see how I work." "Yes," Valeria said simply. "And?" "And I will not," she said. Logan laughed softly, then stopped when he realized she was serious. "Why?" "Because you carried me," she said. "Because you chose to act when it would have been safer to disappear. Because your blood saved my life." He considered that. "Those are emotional reasons." "Yes," she agreed. "They are often the most decisive." Footsteps approached. Officers, advisors, soldiers, faces filled with curiosity, awe, and calculation. Valeria rose, steadier now, and turned to face them. "This human," she said, voice carrying, "is under my protection." A murmur rippled through the group. "He is illegal," someone protested. "He is alive," Valeria replied, "which I would not be without him." Logan shifted on the bench, suddenly the center of a political storm he wanted no part of. Later, when the crowd thinned and the noise faded, Valeria returned to him. "You will not be imprisoned," she said, "but you cannot leave unchanged." "Story of my life," Logan said. "My military will want you," she continued. "Your augmentations, your adaptability, and now," she hesitated, "our shared chemistry." He looked up at her, meeting her gaze. "And what do you want?" She smiled faintly. "I want a human who does not run from what he is." Logan leaned back, exhaustion finally claiming him. "Give me a minute," he said. "I just finished carrying royalty across a battlefield." She allowed herself a small, genuine laugh. "Rest then," she said. "Tomorrow we decide what you become." The lights hummed on, indifferent to destinies and choices. Logan closed his eyes, knowing that whatever came next, running was no longer an option. Logan woke to the soft insistence of medical lights and the deeply unsettling sensation of being clean. Not battlefield clean, where you were still sticky in places, but no longer actively bleeding. This was sterile, thorough, judgmental clean. Someone had scrubbed the dust of an entire planet off him and decided he deserved a fresh start, whether he wanted one or not. He opened one eye, then the other. "Still alive," he murmured. "Strong start." "Debatable," Valeria said from somewhere to his left. He turned his head and immediately regretted it. His spine objected, his neck filed a formal complaint, and several internal systems lit up with warnings that felt smug about it. She was sitting upright in a medical recliner that looked like it had been designed by someone who hated comfort on principle. Her armor was gone, replaced with layered medical fabric that adjusted subtly with her breathing. The wound along her side was sealed now, marked only by faint discoloration and a lattice of bioluminescent stitches. "You look better," Logan said. "You look like something the medics were unsure they were allowed to reassemble," she replied. "Fair." She studied him with open curiosity, long ears angled slightly forward in a way he'd learned meant focused attention. "Your augmentations are restless," she said. "They have been arguing with our systems for hours." "Yeah," Logan said. "They do that. Territorial." "You were unconscious," she continued. "They attempted to reroute several diagnostic scans. One of my physicians is still offended." Logan smiled faintly. "Tell them it's nothing personal. They just don't like being judged." She did not smile back, but there was amusement in her eyes. "Your body resists authority." "Again," he said. "Story of my life." Beyond the transparent wall of the medbay, movement flickered. Soldiers, officials, engineers pretending not to stare. Logan felt it even without seeing them. The attention, the weight of being a problem that required a meeting. "They are debating what to do with you," Valeria said. "Let me guess," Logan replied. "Options include imprisonment, dissection, forced employment, or very stern lectures. All are under consideration." "Hope they start with the lecture," he said. "I respond well to disappointment." Valeria leaned back slightly, considering him. "You understand that remaining here is not safe." "I figured," Logan said. "Nothing ever is." "You are illegal under your own species' laws," she said, "and now strategically valuable under mine. That sounds like a terrible combination." "Yes," she agreed. "It often is." A faint hum rippled through the air. Logan felt it in his chest first, then deeper, a low resonance that matched his heartbeat a little too closely. Valeria noticed his reaction. "You feel it too," she said. "Yeah," he replied. "That's new." She flexed her fingers slowly. "The link between us has not dissolved. The toxin is gone, but your filters altered my baseline physiology, and in doing so, adapted themselves further." "Congratulations," Logan said. "You caught a bug from my system." She tilted her head. "You joke, but this connection is efficient." "Efficient how?" She hesitated, then stood. She took a step, then another. Her movement was smooth, too smooth for someone who'd nearly died less than a day ago. "I am healing faster than projected," she said. "Stronger, more resistant." Logan blinked. "You're welcome." "And you," she continued, watching him closely, "are more stable than before." He frowned, checking his internal readouts. The constant background static he'd lived with for years, the quiet friction between illegal hardware and a body that resented it, was reduced, not gone, but quieter. That's new, he admitted. Our systems synchronized, Valeria said. Partially, temporarily perhaps, or permanently. Cool, Logan said. No pressure. Footsteps approached. The medbay door slid open, admitting a cluster of officers and advisors. The room seemed to shrink with them inside it. Valeria turned to face them fully now. Queen again, posture flawless. You have questions, she said. Yes, an older officer replied. About the human. He is still here, Logan added helpfully. Several eyes flicked toward him. Valeria did not acknowledge the interruption. He is augmented, the officer continued, illegally. His presence violates multiple treaties. And yet, Valeria said calmly, his actions preserve my life. He represents a risk. So does every soldier, she replied. We manage those. A murmur rippled through the group. Logan resisted the urge to wave. The bond, another advisor said, the biochemical anomaly. It could be exploited. Everything can be exploited, Valeria said. That does not mean it must be. She turned slightly, gesturing toward Logan. This human did not seek power. He fled it, and still used it when it mattered. Silence followed, heavy, evaluative. What do you propose, when the officer asked? Valeria did not answer immediately. She looked at Logan instead. You ran, she said quietly, from war, from obligation. Logan met her gaze. I was tired of being a weapon. And now? He considered that, the ache in his bones, the strange calm in his systems, the weight of what he had already chosen. Now I'm just tired, he said, but I'm done pretending I can be ordinary. Valeria turned back to the others. He will not be confined, she said, nor dissected. And his status, the officer pressed, will be revised, she replied. He will serve, not as contraband, not as property, but as a specialist under my authority. Logan raised a hand weakly. Do I get a say? She glanced at him. You are free to leave, she said. Once you explain to your people why their queen lives with alien blood in her veins. He lowered his hand. Yeah, thought so. A faint smile touched her lips. The officers withdrew, some reluctantly, others already recalculating futures. When they were gone, the room felt lighter. You did not force me, Logan said. No, Valeria replied. I invited you. He sat up slowly, wincing. I'm not a hero. I know, she said. Heroes seek recognition. You sought distance. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. But some roles cannot be escaped, only delayed. Logan sighed, then chuckled softly. Guess I should have stayed in bed. She inclined her head. Rest while you can, human. He lay back, staring at the ceiling again. The hum of the station, the pull of the link, the shape of a future he'd tried very hard to avoid settling around him. For the first time in years, it didn't feel like a sentence. It felt like a choice waiting to be finished. Logan stood at the observation deck 3 days later, watching the planet rotate slowly beneath the station's shield. From up here, it looked peaceful, almost embarrassed by what it had put them through. He had been cleared, scanned, argued over, signed, countersigned, and officially reclassified as a problem with potential. Apparently, that was the best outcome anyone could hope for. You're going to wear a hole in the glass, Valeria said behind him. He didn't turn. I'm checking to see if it's plotting revenge. She came to stand beside him. She moved differently now, still regal, still precise, but with an ease that hadn't been there before. Her recovery had been swift enough to make her own physicians uncomfortable. They had stopped calling it miraculous and started calling it Logan adjacent. You could leave, she said casually. No one would stop you. True, Logan said, but they'd definitely follow me. Yes, she agreed. Relentlessly. He finally looked at her. You know, back on the ground, when you asked if I was tired. I remember, she said. You lied. I always lie when I'm exhausted, he replied. This time I'm not. She studied him closely, as if confirming the truth of that statement on several levels at once. The link between them hummed faintly, no longer intrusive, just present. Like a shared rhythm neither needed to acknowledge out loud. The military council has accepted your status, she said. Conditional specialist. No insignia, no rank. Sounds familiar, but with authority, she added, and autonomy. He raised an eyebrow. You're really selling it. You will not be owned, she said simply, nor discarded. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding for years. That's new. They stood in silence for a moment, watching a distant storm coil across the planet's surface. I spent a long time trying to be smaller than I was, Logan said. Thought if I hid well enough, I could outlive the consequences. And? Valeria asked. And it turns out consequences are very patient, he said. They'll wait you out. She nodded. My people believe strength is a responsibility, not a privilege. Humans tend to treat it like a crime, he said. Perhaps, she replied, or a temptation. A soft chime echoed through the deck. Logan's implant pinged with a new authorization code, clean and official in a way that made him uneasy. There it is, he said. My future, delivered directly to my nervous system. You can still refuse, Valeria said. He considered that. The running, the hiding, the quiet civilian jobs that never quite fit. Then the memory of carrying her through the night, pain and jokes and stubborn forward motion. I already chose, he said. Just took me a while to admit it. She smiled, genuine and unguarded. Good. They walked together toward the exit. Soldiers they passed straightened instinctively, unsure whether to salute him or ignore him. Logan found it vaguely amusing. I give it a week, he said, before someone asks if I can carry a tank. Can you? Valeria asked. Only uphill, he said. I have standards. She laughed, and the sound carried easily through the corridor. Later, when the station lights dimmed and the schedules shifted into something resembling calm, Logan found himself alone again. Briefly. He was learning that solitude was now a temporary condition. Valeria joined him on the training deck, where adaptive holograms mapped tactical scenarios across the air. She activated one with a flick of her hand. Enemy positions bloomed into view. Still running? She asked. He flexed his hands, feeling the familiar readiness, steadier now than it had ever been. No, he said, just moving forward. She inclined her head. That is enough. They stepped into the simulation together, queen and human, survivor and specialist. Two systems altered, not broken by what they had shared. The first scenario began. Logan moved without hesitation. Augmentations and instincts finally aligned instead of at war with each other. Valeria watched, adjusted.